Welcome, dear viewers, to a world where darkness and mysticism meet in the creepiest forms. Here, in this abandoned corner of the internet, we will delve into the darkest corners of the human imagination. Prepare for awe-inspiring horror, as each of our stories is imbued with sinister secrets that lurk in the darkness of the night. Scary stories that remain beyond your imagination are waiting for you on our channel. Don't forget to turn on the lights, get comfortable and hold on tight, because now we are going into the world of nightmares. Are you ready for it? Then welcome to our scary story. The unsuspecting town of Ashbrooke lay nestled between rolling hills, seemingly untouched by the horrors that lurked in the shadows. Its picturesque streets and quaint houses painted a facade of tranquility, masking the sinister secrets that lay beneath. It was a place where neighbors exchanged pleasantries, children played in the park, and the local bakery wafted the scent of freshly baked bread through the air. But there was something amiss in Ashbrooke, a darkness that lingered in the corners of the town, unnoticed by most. The once clear skies turned an eerie shade of gray, casting a perpetual gloom over the town. The trees whispered secrets to one another, their leaves rustling in a language only they understood. It was as though the very earth beneath Ashbrooke's cobblestone streets held its breath, awaiting the impending nightmare. The unease in Ashbrooke began with the arrival of a stranger, a woman shrouded in mystery. She came to town on a moonless night, her presence heralded by a thick fog that enveloped her figure as she walked the silent streets. Her name was Mara, though no one knew it at the time. The townsfolk couldn't help but notice the strange occurrences that followed in her wake. The once friendly dogs now barked and growled at her as if sensing an otherworldly presence. The flowers in her path wilted, and the streetlights flickered and dimmed when she drew near. Mara took up residence in an old, decrepit mansion on the outskirts of town, a place that had long been abandoned and was said to be cursed. She rarely ventured into town, but when she did, her piercing blue eyes seemed to pierce the souls of those who crossed her path, leaving them with a sense of unease that they couldn't quite shake. As the days turned into weeks, the townspeople began to experience strange phenomena. Whispers filled the night air, carrying with them words that could not be deciphered, but their meaning was clear. Something malevolent had awakened. The children of Ashbrooke would wake up screaming from nightmares, their tiny bodies drenched in sweat as they recounted visions of a shadowy figure looming over them. Parents tried to dismiss these tales as the product of overactive imaginations, but deep down, they too felt the creeping sense of dread. Each night the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They permeated the dreams of those who slept, filling their minds with dark thoughts and dreadful prophecies. Soon, even the most skeptical among them couldn't deny that something was terribly wrong in Ashbrooke. It was on a particularly cold and moonless night that the first victim of Mara's malevolence met her dreadful fate. Emily Jameson, a young woman of 25, had always been known for her warm smile and gentle demeanor. She had no inkling of the horrors that awaited her as she settled into her bed. As Emily drifted into slumber, she felt an oppressive weight settle upon her chest, making it impossible to move. Panic surged through her veins as she realized she couldn't even scream for help. Her bedroom was bathed in an otherworldly glow, casting eerie shadows on the walls. And then, she saw it, a figure standing at the foot of her bed, its eyes like twin orbs of burning ice. It was Mara, the sinister presence that had haunted Ashbrooke. Emily watched in terror as the demon extended a long, gnarled finger toward her forehead, tracing a symbol that seemed to sear itself into her very soul. In that moment, Emily understood the true horror of her situation. She was trapped in a state of sleep paralysis, unable to escape as Mara's malevolent power consumed her. The room filled with agonizing screams, but they were trapped within Emily's paralyzed form, unheard by the world outside. And so, the nightmare began in earnest. As Ashbrooke descended further into darkness, its inhabitants tormented by the demon who had come to claim their dreams and their lives. Little did they know that this was only the beginning of the horrors that Mara would unleash upon their once peaceful town. Fear had taken root in Ashbrooke, spreading like wildfire through the hearts of its residents. The once peaceful town was now a landscape of apprehension and dread. Whispers grew louder, their insidious words weaving a tapestry of paranoia. Neighbors eyed each other suspiciously. their smiles now strained and forced. Children refused to sleep, haunted by the shadows that danced on their walls, their innocent dreams replaced by ghastly visions. Parents stayed awake, guarding their loved ones as best they could, but the sense of impending doom loomed over them all. The air crackled with tension, a palpable fear that permeated the town, leaving no soul untouched. Ashbrooke was trapped in a perpetual state of unrest, teetering on the brink of terror. Amidst the chaos, a flicker of determination sparked in the heart of the protagonist, Ethan Blackwood. Ethan, a local historian with an insatiable curiosity, felt an urge to uncover the truth behind the darkness that now gripped Ashbrooke. Late into the night, he delved into ancient texts and obscure folklore, seeking clues about Mara's origins and how to combat the malevolent entity. He scoured through dusty tomes and whispered legends, piecing together fragments of information that hinted at an ancient evil tied to the town. Every line he read revealed a grim past, a history tainted by maleficent forces and sacrilegious rituals. As the puzzle slowly came together, Ethan realized that unraveling this mystery was imperative to save his beloved town from the clutches of Mara. Ethan's pursuit of knowledge came at a great cost. The nightmares began to haunt him, invading his dreams with surreal and terrifying visions. He would wake up in cold sweats, heart pounding, unable to shake the feeling of being watched. The days blurred into nights, and his waking hours were plagued by a growing paranoia. Shadows danced at the corner of his vision, and the whispers of Mara's curse echoed in his mind, driving him to the edge of sanity. Sleep became a battleground where he fought to maintain his grip on reality. Ethan's once inquisitive spirit was now tainted by fear and the weight of the revelation he had unearthed. He was tangled in the darkness he sought to unravel, struggling to hold on to his sanity as the malevolent presence tightened its grip. Mara's malevolence knew no bounds. Night after night, it claimed more victims, ensnaring them in a web of sleep paralysis and horrifying visions. The town's cries for help went unanswered, drowned by the cacophony of terror that echoed through the tortured souls. Each victim experienced a personal hell, their minds trapped in a twilight realm of dread. The entity reveled in their anguish, delighting in the torment it inflicted. The once tranquil streets of Ashbrooke had transformed into a realm of nightmares, a place where the boundary between reality and the supernatural blurred. As the malevolent force grew stronger, so did the desperation of the townsfolk. They clung to shreds of hope, praying for salvation from the abyss that threatened to consume them all. But in the darkness that had befallen Ashbrooke, hope seemed but a flickering candle, struggling to survive against the encroaching shadows. In the dim light of his study, surrounded by ancient texts and flickering candles, Ethan Blackwood uncovered the horrifying truth about Mara. It was a revelation that sent chills down his spine and rattled the very foundations of his understanding. Mara was no ordinary demon. It was an entity born of the town's own dark history. Centuries ago, Ashbrooke had been a hub of occult practices, where a group of misguided individuals delved into forbidden rituals. Their intentions were fueled by a lust for power and a desire to control the forces beyond the mortal realm. Through these rituals, they had inadvertently summoned Mara, who had lain dormant, waiting for the opportune moment to unleash its terror once again. The demon was intrinsically tied to the town, feeding off its fear and despair. It thrived on the twisted energy born from the suffering of the innocent. It had become a cursed guardian, a malevolent force forever bound to Ashbrooke. Armed with this dreadful knowledge, Ethan knew that the time had come for a final, desperate stand against Mara. He sought out those who remained unscathed, gathering a small group of determined individuals willing to confront the darkness head-on. Together they prepared for the confrontation, studying ancient rituals and crafting protective talismans. They set their plan in motion, determined to weaken Mara's hold over the town and force it into the open. As the night fell, shrouding Ashbrooke in darkness, they gathered at the mansion where Mara had taken residence. The air crackled with tension as they approached the imposing structure. They stood united, ready to face the demon and end its reign of terror. The mansion was a labyrinth of shadows, the walls oozing with the malevolent presence of Mara. The air was heavy with anticipation as they ventured further, guided by the dim glow of their protective talismans. In the heart of the mansion, they found Mara, a ghastly figure wreathed in darkness. Its piercing blue eyes bore into their souls, revealing the depths of its malevolence. Mara spoke with a chilling, ethereal voice, recounting tales of suffering and despair that spanned centuries. The demon reveled in the torment it had inflicted, boasting of the nightmares it had sown. It had become a master of fear, its existence driven by the agony of those it had trapped. The confrontation escalated into a battle of wills, a struggle for the very soul of Ashbrooke. In a climactic battle of strength and determination, the group fought back against Mara. Their talismans weakened the demon's hold, disrupting its power and exposing its vulnerability. With a final, desperate surge of collective willpower, they banished Mara back into the shadows from whence it came. The victory, however, came at a heavy price. The survivors were forever scarred by the horrors they had witnessed, haunted by the shadows of their ordeal. The town of Ashbrooke bore the marks of the battle, and its residents were forever changed. Though Mara had been defeated, its malevolent legacy continued to linger. The nightmares had left deep wounds in the psyche of the town, a reminder of the darkness that dwelled within. But amidst the scars, a flicker of hope emerged. The town vowed to rebuild, to unite against the fear, and to ensure that the demon's reign would never return. As Ashbrooke slowly recovered, the survivors clung to the hope that the bonds forged in the face of unimaginable horror would guide them toward a brighter future. But they knew, deep down, that the memory of Mara would forever echo in the shadows, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit against the darkest of adversaries. Months passed since the harrowing confrontation with Mara, yet the haunting legacy of the demon's reign continued to cast a long, dark shadow over Ashbrooke. The scars left behind were more than physical. They ran deep within the souls of the survivors and the very fabric of the town. The once thriving community had become a somber place, where laughter now carried an undertone of fear, and joy was tempered by the memory of horrors endured. The scars were etched not only on the minds of those who had faced Mara, but on the heart of the town itself. Every creak of a door, every rustle of leaves, and every shadow at dusk reminded the residents of the terror they had lived through. The wounds were healing, but the town would never forget the malevolent entity that had sought to consume its very essence. The nightmares persisted, their claws refusing to release their grip on the minds of Ashbrooke's inhabitants. Sleep remained elusive, plagued by the perpetual fear of being trapped in the suffocating grip of sleep paralysis once more. The townsfolk had become prisoners of their own minds, haunted by whispers that never seemed to fade. In the dead of the night, the echoes of Mara's laughter seemed to reverberate through the darkened streets. Residents would wake with a start, cold sweat clinging to their brows, convinced they had glimpsed the ghostly figure of the demon lurking at the foot of their beds. The veil between dreams and reality had been torn, and the townspeople found it difficult to discern what was true and what was a lingering echo of the horrors they had faced. A chilling unease settled in Ashbrooke, a lurking apprehension that suggested Mara's malevolent presence had not been fully vanquished. The very air felt thick with the anticipation of an impending return, like a storm on the horizon, promising destruction. Rumors began to circulate, a flicker seen in the corner of an eye, a fleeting shadow that moved too swiftly to be natural. Whispers spread of strange symbols etched on the walls of the abandoned mansion where Mara had resided. Fearful eyes glanced over their shoulders, sensing an unseen malevolence that lurked just beyond sight. The town was on the edge of a precipice, teetering between a fragile peace and the abyss of darkness once again. The question lingered: had they truly banished Mara, or had they merely pushed it into the shadows, awaiting its chance to rise once more? In the depths of the night, a final, bone-chilling glimpse into the perpetuity of evil unfolded. The moon shrouded itself in darkness, casting an ominous glow over the land. As the world slept, the eerie silence was shattered by a low, haunting laughter, the signature of Mara. The town of Ashbrooke trembled as the ground seemed to breathe, exhaling the malevolent force that had tormented it. The walls of the mansion bore witness to an unnatural movement, a stirring within its depths. The symbols etched on its walls began to glow with an unholy light. The story was not over. The horrors would endure. Evil never truly died. It only waited, biding its time in the unending darkness. And as the residents of Ashbrooke lay in fitful sleep, a sense of dread settled upon them. for they knew that Mara's story had not yet reached its conclusion. The echo of the demon's laughter lingered, a chilling reminder that the terror was far from over.